delighted to have Kevin on. I've been on the site a couple of times. It's a real credit, and it's great to be able to bring people the odd time from Dublin. And I know he's hosted Shingo visits as well. But it's a fantastic site. It's a credit to everybody who's there. I think they're all proud of it. They probably don't realise how good they are, but by comparison, it's fantastic. And it was a pleasure to be there. So it's great to get Kevin on, who's led the Lean program, and he's been there for quite a few years. So he's going to tell us a little bit about the journey. And then when the presentation is done, we'll open it up to questions, because I'm sure you'll have loads of questions about your own journey and what Kevin's done in his time there at Jabil. So, Kevin, I'm going to hand over to you. Hopefully we all go well this time.
Yeah, appreciate your time today. Just going to take you through our Shingo journey here in Bray. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Kevin Heffernan. I'm Senior Director of Operations for a healthcare site cluster in Europe. Been working with Jabil for 12 and a half years now. Initially started off in an operations management position, and really we started our lean journey back then about 12 years ago. We are at the Shingo level, but everybody's journey in lean is different. And some people go the Shingo route, some people don't, and that's perfectly fine. I see the value in the Shingo model, so I do talk about it quite a bit. But it's everybody's to find their own course or their own path in lean that works for them and their organization, and really does depend upon maturity level within your organization. So the title of my presentation is really Shingo Success, from key performance indicators to key behavioral indicators, and how you take a lean program from being very tools based to more culture based. But again, that kind of comes with time. Initially focusing on performance indicators is a good thing, maybe migrate to behavioral indicators over time. I do have some videos as we go through, so I may ask you to mute your mics as we play the videos, otherwise the sound will feed back on the system, but I'll let you know when I'm about to play a video. So yeah, what we're going to cover today is just introduce you to our company Jabil, so you get appreciation for what we do here, give you some context, may make it more relatable to you. Introduce you to our site here in Bray and our history, talk about the journey of our lean program and how we migrated from quite a tools-based system into the Shingo model, and then how we try and sustain the systems and embed the systems so we have an enduring lean program here in Bray. Because we all know with lean programs, if they're too tools-based and it's not cultural-based, sometimes the focus dips and the energy levels dips on lean, and it's kind of flavor of the month for a period of time, and then people get distracted and they don't sustain the discipline. So really that's Shingo helps us to embed that culture where lean is kind of part of what we do, and it shapes our thinking every day on the site. So just a bit about Jabil. So Jabil is a global company. We have founded over nearly 60 years ago now, 150,000 employees around the world, revenues of about $30 billion a year. We have over 100 sites across 25 countries around the world, so we're a global footprint, and we have over 400 customers, 400 key count customers that really we're here to serve every day. We're a contract manufacturing organization. We do provide design services as well, so we're very much focused on providing services to our customers around design and manufacturing of products. Our footprint, as I said, is global. So footprint, very strong footprint in North America, Central America, a lot of factories obviously in China, Malaysia, Vietnam, Singapore, and also then right across Europe. We do have a large footprint in Europe as well. We've got our facility here in Bray. We have a facility in Blanchardstown, and we also have a facility in Waterford. And I think you'll see in the media recently, Jabil did do an acquisition of an energy company in Ireland as well. So we'll have a few more sites in Ireland as well with Jabil branding sometime in the future as we Jabilize those facilities. As I mentioned, we provide services to our customers around the design, development, and manufacturing of product. So we're a company that makes things. We make things for our customers. We have design centers, and we're fortunate in Bray here. We have a design center as part of our operation with 40 design engineers. So our customers will come to us sometimes with a concept or an idea around a product. We'll support them to explore that product right through ideation, kind of developing the concept, through the prototyping, then into low volume or high volume production. On Bray here, we're a healthcare site, so we support them right through their clinical bills and their DV bills, and then through full validation phases for a medical device product. Some of our sister sites then also provide after-sales service support to our customers for certain product types. And we've got a very, very large supply chain. We manage material purchase of about $25 billion a year across our 100 sites. You know, we are quite diverse in our customer base. So we've got customers across all these different segments, and our business is really driven along a P&L, profit and loss by division or by grouping. Bray here, we're part of healthcare. Our site in Blanchardstown is part of cloud and infrastructure, so data systems, data servers. We also have facilities in Europe that are focused on packaging type product in Hungary and Spain. And then we've got a lot of sites even in Eastern Europe that are more focused on capital equipment and automotive and transportation. Just wondering then, Joe, if I wanted to push over to the next slide there.
If you just click under the bit that you're sharing there, there's little arrows, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. So
You could just swim on,
Joe. Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Sure.
Yeah, so within healthcare, we've got 4 different areas, 5 different areas. We've got medical devices, orthopedics, diagnostics, drug delivery, and consumer health. In Bray here, our focus is very much on drug delivery and diagnostics. But as you would see in the site map for Europe, we've got a lot of orthopedic sites. They were sites that Jabil acquired from Johnson & Johnson, 6 or 7 sites across Switzerland and Germany. Within the healthcare sector, we provide services or products to over 500 million customers a year. So we've got a very large footprint. We make a lot of insulin pens, a lot of auto injectors, inhalers, etc. So large impact on customer patients, our customers' patients. In Bray, our site was established back in the 1930s. So originally this site was a state-sponsored site after the foundation of the state. Initially was involved in the production of light bulbs. So people are familiar with the Bray area, you'll probably see the Solis Tower. Obviously Solis, as we all know, is the Irish for light. So we were involved in light bulb production, electrical switch systems, and they were rolled out as part of the electrification of the country back in the 30s and 40s. Migrated into telecommunication switches in the 50s and 60s. We started injection molding here in the 1970s. And automated assembly in the late 1980s, medical device production in around 2000, and we continue to evolve our capabilities and services to our customers. So over 90 years manufacturing on the site here in Bray, continuing to evolve and change to meet the needs of our customers. We were acquired by Nipro, so this was originally state-sponsored, then held by a private individual, and then acquired by Nipro in 1980, acquired by Jabil in 2012, 2013, and we've been part of Jabil for the last 12 years. So that's kind of shaped our lean program really since 2012. We have over 425 employees on site. We have about 65 molding machines and about 15 automated assembly lines. That's our footprint. If you could mute now, I'd appreciate it, because I'm going to try and play this video and there's audio on it. So we're going to get a lot of feedback if you're not muted. So just got a minute or two there to mute, or 10 or 15 seconds to mute your speakers, so we won't get the feedback. Appreciate you muting your speakers now. Otherwise, we're going to get feedback. It's not playing. Sorry, I just see. I'm just wondering, Joe, if I want to open up that video full size. Or maybe I can't, can I?
I don't think you can if it's embedded now.
No.
Do you have the video otherwise?
No, it's okay. We'll switch up. I think I've covered this anyway, but yeah, we'll just move on. Yeah, we'll move on. I'll play it anyway, and you can just maybe be able to see it in the bottom corner. Yeah, so that's kind of enough about Jabil. So you get a feel for what we do: manufacturing company, design services, healthcare products, making devices that we ship to tier one pharmaceutical companies. They do the final pack out with the drug vial or the drug container. And we also make medical devices that we ship directly to OEM medical companies that again do final pack. So this switching then into our lean journey, where did we start and how do we find ourselves to be where we are today? So as I mentioned, I mentioned earlier, I'm working with Jabil about 12, 13 years now. We started off back in 2011, 2012, where I suppose we were focusing just really on material flow, layouts, and thinking about the 8 wastes. So it was very tool-based at the time. What drove us to do that was we had a lot of customers visiting the site. I suppose from my perspective, I didn't think the site looked as well as it could. And really, when we bring customers to the site and we're working hard to win new business, we just want to make sure we were creating the right impression and the right perception with our customers. So we did a lot of work on just 5S layout, right thing, right place for everything. Everything has its place. Improving our tour route for our customers when they came in, and making sure that they got a clear perception that we were in control of our manufacturing areas, and we were presenting a perspective that we had everything in the right place at the right time. We kind of migrated onto that into 2013, where we became part of Jabil, and Jabil has a very established work cell model where we look at every customer account. We work to make sure we deliver for every customer, but we also make sure that our cost structure is enabled to facilitate us to make the single-digit margin that we make from our business. So in 2013, we broke our site down into work cells, started to generate P&L by customer account to align with the Jabil model. And also get clearer focus on our cost-based management and our area allocations. So we were doing a lot of work on making sure we're allocating space, areas, energy, resources correctly to each account. So we knew where we were winning and losing financially. And we had 1 or 2 accounts where we weren't winning, we were losing. And we had to work different issues around cost structure and pricing with the customer at the time. In 2014, we set up a lean council. We could see the value that we had from our key performance indicators around cost and delivery to our customers. But we did decide that we wanted to try and push our program on. So we established a lean council on the site. Lean council was quite simple. Really, every functional manager, every work cell manager was part of the lean council. and we focused on 3 or 4 initiatives that we wanted to take on each year to drive our lean program forward. And we were very much focused on layering onto the existing base, and not overloading the organization with too many things at the one time. So as I mentioned, we started off with 5S and layout, then we started looking at flow. We looked at P&L, profitability by customer account. And then we migrated on to looking at some transformative projects that could create space on the site so we could bring new business onto the site. In 2015, our corporate Jabil colleagues, we'd now been part of Jabil for 2 years, came over and did a lean maturity assessment on us as a site. So it's very much based on the Shingo model. So Jabil's operating system is very aligned to the Shingo model. So we had 3 or 4 of our lean directors from the US came over. We were part of Jabil for 2 years. They did the full assessment, scored us across all the different principles and tools, and cultural enablement. And they gave us a report, and that report called out where we were strong, where we needed to do better. We weren't defensive about that report. We took it as a learning opportunity, but we did score the highest score any site got in its first assessment, which pleasantly surprised us for a site that was only part of Jabil for 2 years. And there's 100 sites in Jabil, so there's a lot of competition. We took that report, and then through the Lean Council, we implemented a number of initiatives based on that report to drive our Lean program forward. We focused on further transformation on the site, further engagement systems, and in 2016 we won the best lean site in Jabil across the 100 sites, which was a great achievement for us, which really encouraged us to keep moving forward. 2017 then, after 2 years, there was another lean maturity assessment by the corporate group. Again, they scored us. They could see that we'd taken the feedback on board from the first report, and we scored a bronze level in that assessment. At that stage, one of our senior executives in operations in the US asked us to consider going forward for the Shingo Prize. There was no site in Jabil with Shingo across the 100 sites, so they asked us to go forward. We started doing partnering with the Manufacturing Institute in the UK. We worked with a consultant there. We did a number of workshops and engaged with the Shingo workshops. And we progressed on. Then in 2020, we put up our site walls, focused on our behavioral tenets, our purpose and mission statements, and our guiding principles. And then in 2021, during COVID, we had a 5-day assessment by 5 of the Shingo assessors, and we were awarded the Shingo Prize, which was a great achievement for the site. So you can see our journey has been very focused on tools initially back in 2011. That's what we wanted to focus on. P&L in 2013, Lean Council to drive engagement, assessment reports to push us further down the journey, and then strong visual management, strong visual tools around our lean walls and our principal walls across the site. And we continue on the Shingo journey. So we have sustained what we've implemented. And we do partner with Shingo a lot, so we get lots of visits and tours onto the site. We feel we have a responsibility, Shingo, to make sure we retain the right to have been awarded that prize. Spindle there, Joe. Click on this on. Not clicking on. Oh, there we go. There we go. So yeah. So what is the Shingo model? So the Shingo model is a kind of a lean framework for operational excellence, but its focus is culture-based as well. Dr. Shio Shingo was an American industrial engineer who studied the Toyota Way and brought a lot of the learnings that he had from the Toyota Way back to the US in the 40s and the 50s. And he identified the guiding principles, the 10 behavioral sub-principles underneath those, and provided this framework to embed a sustainable and enduring lean system in an organization. So I'll just play this little video, which hopefully will play for us. And it talks about the 3 guiding principles and how we implemented them in Bray. So you can see those principles really focused on cultural enablement. That's about respecting every individual, leading with humility, enterprise alignment, which is around creating constancy of purpose, thinking systematically, and also creating value for the customer. And then continuous improvement is around all those principles around creating flow, seeking perfection, and thinking about things in a scientific way.
I think that opens it in a separate one.
So I wonder if I was to try and open that, can't do that, can I?
Play that, you'd need to stop sharing the PowerPoint and share the video it's playing after you click it.
Okay, yeah, that's probably a little bit complicated, is it?
It might go a bit wrong.
Okay, so there, that's the model, the Shingo model that we've adopted here in Bray, and that's what's guiding what we do every day. So those insights are very, they are powerful when you dwell on them and you reflect on them. I suppose we've reflected on them a lot because we had to prepare for Shingo, and you know, we spent a lot of time thinking about these insights that Dr. Cher Shingo developed. Like, if I was to say to you, what is the one thing you should try and take out of this time we're talking here for this 45 minutes or whatever, is really these insights. Ideal results require ideal behaviors. Sounds very basic, but it's very deep. Ideal results require ideal behaviors. Purpose and systems drive behaviors. Principles inform behaviors. I recently had a fairly senior leader from another organization come visit the site because they wanted to see our Shingo model and how we'd implemented Shingo. And funnily enough, that lady was telling me that when we were discussing this, she was saying that she thought results were driven by leaders and leaders' behaviors. But really, Dr. Shio Shingo is saying it's a bit deeper than that. Behaviors are really shaped by purpose and systems. So if you have the right systems embedded in an organization and they're sustained, that drives the behaviors that delivers the results. And it makes it independent of any individual or any particular group of people. And you know, the three principles then really inform our behaviors as well. That's very fundamental. You know, those behaviors around driving continuous improvement, creating constancy of purpose, and driving culture enablement. So that really shapes our thinking in Bray every day. You know, we are continuously trying to achieve the results we need to achieve for our customer and also for our business. And that makes us think about our behaviors and making sure we're recognizing the right behaviors and implementing systems that help us to drive and recognize those behaviors. We have all the elements of the continuous improvement principle in place. So you can see we've got a vision and mission, and we've got a large wall that calls that out, makes it very visible to everybody on site. Our vision and mission statements are very clear. We do follow those guiding principles that we spoke about in the previous two slides. And they're all centered around creating that constancy of purpose, getting everybody aligned, making sure we're driving and encouraging the right behaviors and the right culture on our site, and then making sure that everybody sees continuous improvement as part of their goals and objectives every year. So, you know, all of us have goals every year, including myself, around how many lean projects I have to be involved in and how many engagements I show across safety, quality, and lean. With visual management in all areas, so every work production cell you walk into, you can see we're right up by the hour, green or red, did we hit the number or not hit the number. We get shift reports every 12 hours that tells us did we hit the standard or not hit the standard. And we don't just gather data, we use the data to drive action. So if you walk into a production cell, it'll show green or red for the hour. And if it's red, it'll say what action am I taking to try and correct that red and turn it back green. So we use color code system around the site, green, red, yellow. Green is we're running, we're hitting standard. Yellow is we're running, we're not hitting standard. Red is we are not running and we should be running so we're not running at all. So we need to take action. So red is not a problem to display a red. We have a culture here on site that we trust the team. We just make things visible and then we support the team to address the issues that they're facing every day. So we encourage visual management and that's really fundamental to our lean program. People can't be afraid to show the current status. We encourage people to show the current status, and as leaders, it's our job to help them to overcome the challenges that they have in their area and encourage and support them. We train and certify then as well on lean. So we train bronze, silver, and black belt. Everybody does shop floor, and to retain your certification, you have to complete 4 lean projects every year. So if you don't do the projects, you lose your certification, which is a really good concept, because I know I've worked in other organizations where people go off and they do the lean certification, they become green belts and black belts, and then you find they don't engage in any projects thereafter. So we really want to have a live lean program where all of us as engineers, technicians, supply chain folks, quality, finance are engaged, HR are engaged in lean on a continuous basis, and we all have a responsibility to drive lean projects in our area. We do check through the metrics. We have a strong KPI scorecard that we share with our customers and also across the site. We're assessed against our lean program every 2 years by our corporate function, and we have a strong belief in Gemba. So we go to the area where there's the challenge, we work to see and understand the challenge that our team has, and then as leaders, it's our job to support them with whatever resources or help they need to overcome the challenges in their area. We share our best practice, and we have reward and recognition scheme as well on the site. As I said earlier at the start, everybody's on their own lean journey, and you can't, in my opinion, you can't overwhelm an organization with too much at one time. So you can see our history, as I showed in an earlier slide, started off about 2011, 2012, and we've kept layering on different things over the last 10 years. But the key thing is we have to maintain each of the foundational pieces that we've established over the years. We can't let any of the systems die, because we know ideal results require ideal behaviors. Purpose and systems drive behaviors. So each one of these systems has to be maintained, has a champion and an owner, and we're very focused on making sure that the systems are sustained over time. Otherwise, the behaviors will drift, and then the results will also drift. We create constancy of purpose through our site alignment wall, our strategy on a page, which we issue every year for the site level, and each functional manager issues their strategy on a page for their team. And then we use X matrices to track and make sure that we're aligned with our key pillars. Our pillars are our employees, our customers, our capabilities, and growing and sustaining our business. So every project we're working on should tie back to one of those 4 pillars, and then we've got a clear RACI for each one of those projects in each area. So every function has an X matrix: HR, finance, each of our technical teams, quality, and each of our work cells, and also at a site level. So we create that alignment, constancy of purpose. Everybody knows what we need to do to achieve success. And really, we do ask the question, if we're working on something that's not aligned to one of the pillars or on our strategy on a page, maybe we might be working on the wrong thing. On the cultural enablement, we have systems that drive engagement. So, we have a big focus on developing our people, creating a culture where it's learning a culture. Everybody gets the opportunity to grow if they wish. So we have systems around that. So, the enablement systems we have, or cultural enablement systems we have around development. We've got study support scheme where we pay for folks to go back to college part-time. We have apprenticeship program across tool making, polymer engineering, electrical and automation, manufacturing engineering. So we're very much engaged in the apprenticeship programs. We recognize that not every employee maybe was as focused on the Leaving Cert as some folks are. They're really bright folks, maybe didn't apply themselves at that time. So we create pathways through the study support and the apprenticeship program for those folks to flourish and grow within Jabil. There around the development schemes, we also have a relationship with the local university. So we bring in interns, 8 to 10 interns every year as part of the 3rd year or co-op period from DCU, UCD, and we also bring in folks from the master's programs in UCD for 6 to 9 months as part of their masters. We also have enablement through our communication system. So we have a huddle-based system in Bray. We encourage people to have stand-up meetings, 10 to 15 minutes every morning for every work cell and for the plant. Layered meetings where we stand up in the area rather than try and avoid going into conference rooms if we can so do so. So we like to have the meetings in the area, keep them stand up, 10 to 15 minutes, action driven, And we do that for every employee on site should be at a huddle every day, just to create that connection, that sense of belonging, that sense of being part of the team, that sense of being able to contribute, and your contribution being recognized every day. We did develop a behavioral leaflet for the site, so we wanted to call out what behaviors we want to pursue, or be able to have a conversation about behaviors and what good looks like, because we would feel that a lot of managers struggle around these conversations nowadays, calling out what's good, what's not good. And this leaflet helps anchor those conversations and support our managers to have difficult conversations where behaviors aren't where we'd like them to be. And it also enables us to call out the role models. So when we see somebody that's role modeling the right behaviors, we can recognize those. So we have the 12 behavioral tenets that's visible across the site. And we have reward and recognition schemes. So everybody, with an online scheme, no bureaucracy, everybody gets €100 a year, and they can allocate points to anybody, any peer or any manager or any person reporting to them around these behaviors. So they can go into the system, pick the value, pick the person's name, pick the behavior, and then just write a little note to say, I want to recognize you for this value, for this behavior, for making the difference for me today. And then that person gets an allocation. So every point is €1. So if they allocate 20 points, they get €20. An email is sent to the employee and to their manager with the note from the person that recognized them. And then at the end of the year, we issue voucher cards to the values of all the points that the person got throughout the year. We used to have a bureaucratic system where we had a committee that approved them, but the feedback from our surveys, our employee surveys, was people didn't like the bureaucracy. They felt if they wanted to recognize somebody, that they should be allowed and empowered to do that. So we've changed our system to be online, no bureaucracy. Anybody can recognize anybody else, but you have to call out the behavior and the situation, the star situation, and the action and the results. This is just another variant of that culture card, again, developed by the team here on site. We had 15 different focus groups involved in developing this site across our 4 shifts and across all functions, and they contributed to the behaviors and the values that we wanted to drive as a site. We have engagement cards as well. So we've got a safety card, a green card. So if you fill out a safety card, that goes straight to the EHS manager, and the EHS manager will take action on that card. We're 650 days since our last time accident on the site. So 2025, we had no last time accidents. No last time accidents, 650 days, which is just a super achievement for the site. We get about 60 cards filled out a month. So that's 60 times a month somebody takes the time to fill out a card and say, I see something that I'm concerned about and I'd like action taken. And that's what we believe drives us to be an accident-free site. When you think about 60 people taking the time every month to fill out a card, it makes us feel very secure that our safety systems are working. If you've got an idea, you can fill out a Kaizen card. We get about 700 Kaizen cards a year. And then these Kaizen cards are reviewed by the functional or the work cell managers. And then they will drive action into A3, DMAIC or DMADV. And then the person that fills out the Kaizen card is involved in that lean project. All our lean projects are tracked on a portal, eKaizen, so we can see what projects are being worked by whom and what's the savings associated with them. Recognition I talked about earlier. So we do measure these behavioral indicators, and this is part of the Shingo model, really. So the Shingo model is about driving engagement, cultural change. So we do track how many safety cards we get a month, and we make them visible in all areas. How many Kaizen cards we're getting in each area. How many recognitions in each area. And also how many folks are doing development. So either apprenticeship, study support, or external courses. So we believe that these engagements, tools and systems help shape our culture of enablement, because it gives everybody a voice. If you see something, you can say something. For either quality, safety, lean, you can say something. And we will process it. These are some of the scores I had from the last time I presented this. So you can see with 540 cards in 24, I think with 700 Kaizen cards this year, 25. With 747 safety cards in 24, something similar in 25. 284 A3s and demerits across the site in 24. I think we were over 300 last year in 25. And then recognitions, almost 600-700 people a year saying thank you through the recognition scheme and spending their budget, an allocated budget, to take the time to say thank you. And, we want that to be part of our culture. We need to say thank you. Maybe we don't say thank you enough. And this recognition card and the budget helps us to make sure we are learning to say thank you and encouraging people to say thank you. Our real voice of the employee is the survey that we do every year, corporate survey. We do 4 pulse surveys a year, one every quarter, or 4 pulse surveys a year, one every quarter, where we ask our employees 5 or 6 questions on an online system. It's a blind survey, and we use that to shape the areas we need to work on. We also do the corporate one, which is one that site leaders, we'd always be a little bit nervous about how our employees are going to say we're doing as a site. And the really pleasing thing is our voice and employee surveys are really strong. Our response rates are in the mid-70s. Our overall engagement index is 84-85%. And you can see we score really strongly around safety, well-being, how we act as leaders, and how we take action based on what people say back to us in the surveys. So that's the true voice of the employee. We also do a net promoter score with all our customers. So every year we survey about 50 different customers across our customer base. And our score on the net promoter score is an average of 8.7 with no detractors. So, that's the voice of the customers. So we pay heed to what our employees say and what our customers say. We make sure we take action to address concerns. Same thing. So key takeaways. So I see we're up at 40 minutes now. So key takeaways, I would say, is the Shingo insights. Ideal results require ideal behaviors. It's purpose and systems that drive behaviors, and it's principles that inform them. And the principles we're focused on, as I mentioned earlier, are culture enablement, continuous improvement, and alignment. And then the systems are many. So, it's really around systems of engagement, like the likes of the safety cards, the recognition scheme, the huddles, all those systems that drive culture enablement and engagement. The strong set of tools that we have around driving continuous improvement help us to create flow, thinking scientifically. So they're the blitzes, the A3s, the demerits, the demadvies, structured tools to help our employees to engage in that way. The principles and the systems and the tools are really drive how we act and how we work every day on the site. I just might see this might play. So this is what our people say about Shingo. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to share around Shingo, and so I guess you can unmute now because I'm not going to play any more videos. And if anybody's any questions or any thoughts or any insights they want to share, quite happy to open it up, I guess, Steve.
Kevin, that was brilliant. and I haven't seen your latest presentation. I mean, what strikes me here, just from the presentation, to all the talk about our business is about growing people, and the people will grow our product. And that's what came across in your whole presentation, that you're just building behaviors, but you're building people systems, which is a real credit. And you're miles ahead of so many places I've seen. And as you said earlier, this is your way of doing it, but it's there's so many little inspirational pieces in that I hope people take from it. So let's open up the questions. While you have Kevin for about 15 minutes.
I see Noel has a question there, Noel. Hi, Noel.
You're on mute, Noel. I have to say this to him every time.
That's okay.
Okay, sorry. How you doing, Kevin? Inspirational stuff, and a shout out as well to Steve for organising this. You know what I mean? It's brilliant, and you know how much I love this stuff, and I think it's great that you still get me so bloody excited. I want to talk to you about for a minute and again, the fact that, like, I've been in Bray, like, he operates in a very tough business, you know what I mean? Like, it really is seconds count, never mind minutes and that, like, you know what I mean? So good on you. This behaviours, yeah, I'm with you 100%. Now, an awful lot of companies talk about, people being their biggest asset and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's just about numbers, end of story. So my question for you is, how do you manage to, or are you able to kind of put those behaviors into objectives for your managers and your people leaders and people like that?
Yeah, absolutely, Noel. Our business is a tough business. It's a single-digit margin business. We're providing a service to a customer, so we don't own any IP. We've no IP here. We have a lot of expertise in different capabilities that we have around injection molding, mold tool engineering, automated assembly, measurement and metrology, CT scanning, and obviously our design services. But it's a single-digit business margin. It's not like the big pharma companies that have double-digit margins. How do we drive the behaviors? So in our goals every year, we've got an online workday system that we use. And my goals are the same as everybody else in the area of lean. We call out that everybody has to fill out at least 2 safety cards a quarter. Everybody's got to fill out at least 4 Kaizen cards a year. And everybody's got to be involved in 2 Kaizen projects a year. And now some people, I've been on many calls and different forums where people say you shouldn't force numbers like this. You shouldn't force people to have to do things, that it should just happen. So our approach here is we call it out. We say this is what good looks like. We want to encourage people to engage. We don't want people to have a kind of a psychological block where they don't engage in lean, or they don't engage in saying thank you, or they don't engage in safety. So we do force it a little bit, and we put it in the goals, and we say, here, this is what good looks like. And then it's up to each manager to discuss that with their employee in their reviews on a monthly or quarterly basis, or the end of year review, and discuss their engagement level. And if the engagement levels are low in a particular group, which we see through the work, the Lean Council, we will say to that manager, your team doesn't look like it's engaging. When you sit with your team and figure out what's blocking, what's holding them back. But yeah, I've been on other calls where people say you shouldn't do it like that. So I'm not here to say the right way or the wrong way is leave it to people to do it themselves or push the target. But we do push behavioral targets to try and encourage people to engage, so that it's up to the manager to work with the team as well to understand why they're not engaging.
Thank you.
Kevin, could you talk for a minute about what really impressed me on site is leader standard work and the Gemba walks, and the way you did that, because I've seen so much written about Gemba walks, and I kind of refer back to your method, and I think, no, I like this method. Could you talk a little bit about that, what you do?
Yeah, well, we have standard work across the site, so we get a shift report at 7:45 every morning. So we use SAP as our production tool. So all our orders go into SAP, all our materials are purchased through SAP, and then all our production outputs are generated on SAP. So we get a report off SAP, send out every 12 hours, day shift, night shift. We're 24/7 operation, 355 days a year. We only shut down at Christmas just to do plant maintenance. So we get that shift report at 7:45 every morning, 7:45 every evening. That shows us how we're doing for every work area against the standard. Our work cell huddles happen at 8:15, so the work cell managers stand with the work cell team at 8:15 every morning and every morning to discuss what they need to do for the next 12 hours or 24 hours. What went well? Where do they need help? And are we going to let the customer down in any area? If we are going to let the customer down, then that gets escalated through an escalation process. We have our site stand-up meeting, operations meeting, stand up at the operations wall at 8:45. So the work cell managers, functional managers bring their status at 8:45, stand-up meeting, 15 minutes. We go through the status of every piece of equipment, previous 12 hours, next 12 hours. We call our priorities, and in 15 minutes, we know who needs to do what to turn the reds green, and if we have any escalations. If we've got to call priority, we'll call priority at the ops wall at 8:45. Like any organization, we don't have infinite resources. There's going to be competing priorities, but we make a decision at the ops wall and we get aligned there on what we're going to do. Then we've got 4 CAC meetings. So we've got our material meeting once a week, our quality meeting once a week, our technical meeting once a week, and our finance meeting once a week, where we review each work cell and the site as a whole, with a smaller audience to make sure that we're making progress in each of those 4 critical areas. That's basically what we do have. We do have layer process audits in the room. So each of our line coordinators, our line managers will walk the line every morning between 8 and 9 and just tick off our standard work for our line setup to make sure that everything is in place as it should be to help the team to succeed for the next 12 hours of their shift.
Thanks, Kevin. A couple of hands up. Robert.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for that, Kevin. That was really good. It's nice to hear all the similar kind of tweaks when it comes especially to performance and behaviors. I have a couple of questions, but I was wondering, 100, you said over 100 Jabils.
100 Jabil sites around the world. Yeah, lots of competition. So, we're all competing.
Oh, well, here, that's healthy. That's healthy. It's just, I'd love to know your perspective or your take on, you know, when it comes to strategy deployment and global objectives, and obviously there's always this bigger picture, but how do you as a site leadership team, I suppose, translate the global objectives or the strategy deployment, but still somehow maintain a local focus, like the healthy balance between the two, not trying to keep the beast at bay from the site, but without contradicting those global objectives, but at the same time keeping your Bray identity? How do you navigate that?
Yeah, and that's really important for us because we have a lot of corporate visitors come through the site. You know, we've been very fortunate in Bray. We've had our CEO here in the last 2 years. We've had our CFO here. We've had our executive vice presidents for 3 of the business units. So, you know, we're really delighted when we can get somebody from the top tier to come and visit the site. So we are very clear. We always show them the 4 pillars, and across Jabil, the 4 pillars are always the same: employees, customers, capabilities, and growth. And, you know, those 4 pillars are very visible to them. We have a strategy on a page that's rolled down from, for example, the executive vice president of operations. He rolls down his operations strategy on a page, and then my boss, the VP for Europe, he will slightly refine that for Europe and he'll roll it down. And then I get the opportunity to review it for the sites that I have responsibility for. But fundamentally, you know, our business is around achieving financial targets. We have to get high NPS scores. So, you know, under the customer pillar, we're measured on an NPS score, Net Promoter Score. So we're very clear what we have to achieve to be successful. We have financial objectives that we have to achieve so we can grow and sustain our business on the growth pillar. They're very clear. They will change by site, But again, it's fully aligned with that concept of financial management, cost-based management. On our employees, we have an employee survey every year. There's an expectation that we should be in a certain range on that employee survey score. So our focus is on that as well. But then we have all systems underneath that to help shape, how we create a work environment for our employees. So that would be unique to the site. And then on quality, we have very strong expectations around the organization sets for us on our quality standards and our quality levels. So the pillars are the same irrespective. So our executives talk about the same 4 pillars. They will have targets at a global level, but we're very clear when we set our locks at the start of the year, what we have to achieve to be successful. So when they come on our site, they'll see the same 4 pillars as they talk about, but they'll see we have distilled the key areas into something that's measurable and smart for us.
Very good. And then I suppose, sorry, Newliff, I'll do it if it's okay if I could steal one more question. What's congratulations, by the way, on Shingo. What's remained autonomously with ease since winning Shingo, and what's required the most level of effort to maintain or sustain? So in your experience, what stayed and you don't have to look at it, that's strong and it's embedded and it's fantastic? And then the flip side of that, what have you really needed to pump effort in to make sure it stays that way as well?
This kind of actually ties back to your previous question. So I would say at the time we went for Shingo, when we started preparing for around 2018, we were awarded in 2021. We had an executive operation leader who wanted us to go forward for Shingo. He's not with Jabil anymore. He's moved on to something different. And then, his successors wouldn't be as biased or as positive towards Shingo. And they would articulate that when they come on the site and say, oh yeah, Shingo, great. What does it really do for us? And how do you sustain it? Because everybody has a perception with Shingo that it takes a massive effort to get to the level where, you're Shingo ready. And then there's always a concern at the executive level that you're going to plateau or you're going to dip. So that's something that means that, we have to drive it at a site level ourselves, because there's only 3 sites in Jabil that have Shingo. And really, at a site level, we see the value. So we see the value because we've been exposed to it for the last 7 or 8 years, and we've seen it help us get through tough times, and we've seen it help us to flourish in good times. So what's sustained? I would say nothing would stay sustained if you don't put effort into it on lean. I've worked in other OEMs, top tier med device companies, and they talk about lean, but you can see that it's not sustained, and it becomes flavor of the month or flavor of the year, and then some change happens at a higher level, and then the focus shifts to something else. So I would say all the systems that we've implemented across employee development, communication, engagement, safety cards, Kaizen cards, recognition, employee development, that all takes, thanks Joe, that all takes sustained focus. And I wouldn't take any of our systems for granted. And I don't think any of them will necessarily self-sustain unless there's champions to keep pushing it. So like any system, I kind of think it's like a tree. If you're a plant, if you don't nourish it, it will wither. And it takes a lot of energy and effort to sustain a lean program and fully embed it. Even the recognition scheme, we have to keep reminding people to say thank you and use their budget. The development systems, we have them all there, but we need our managers to challenge employees too and say, look, we want you to help. We want to help you grow and develop. We want to encourage you to go back and do an apprenticeship. We want to help you, encourage you to go back and do part-time study. So it all takes conversations and work. So I would say the only ones that really would sustain are the key performance indicators around finance, cost, quality, and service. Because if you're not doing well in those areas, at a site level, you're not going to do well. So the key performance indicators will sustain because that's how the business gets measured. The behavioral indicators take a lot of work by the managers because, while they drive a really good culture on the site, they help us have a really low turnover rate. Our retention rates are really strong. Our survey scores are strong. And our corporation wants us to do really well in those spaces. We have to work hard at those. We have to work hard at those systems.
Yeah. Well answered. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nuala, waiting patiently in our car.
I'm conscious. First of all, thank you so much. An amazing presentation. I've been sitting in my car smiling away. Anybody walking past, I think there's a crazy lady just smiling to herself. It's genuinely inspirational. I think you've addressed an awful lot of the questions I had, because I'm really interested in what motivates people to come to work, and I can see how you've tapped into so many areas. One question for you: what are you finding hard, if anything, at the moment?
What we're finding hard at the moment, we're very lucky. We have the best pipeline we've ever had in the site. So our business, the thing you always worry about is the financials. So we're in a really strong position financially, with our best year ever last year, and this year will probably be a better one again. So, you know, as a site, we're not really worried about our finances. Our turnover rate is very low, very low. So that's something that most companies are worried about, but our turnover rate, even on the DL, the direct labor side, is very low, which surprises me. The thing we're most worried about is delivering for our customers. So we've got 5 new production lines coming onto the site over the next 12 months. We have to hit the dates. We have to hit the commits we've made to bring in these lines and get them qualified and validated. So every day, that's the thing that I'm concerned about. Are we missing any dates? Are we missing any times on our new programs? Because if we don't deliver those on time, then it has an impact on our ability to recognize revenue in line with our lock. So I would say the thing that I worry about is just making sure we're delivering to our commits to our customers on new programs at the moment.
Thank you.
Kevin, that's an hour gone. Unbelievable. It was a great presentation. I really appreciate your time for this. As I said earlier, I will put the recording up onto the newly established YouTube channel for Dublin Lane Network. So take a look at that, and we'll get some of the older ones up there again. I will talk to Kevin after this about perhaps organising a trip to Jabil in the new year. We'll pick a date that suits everybody, and then we'll inform you about that. I think Dave Scanlon was on the call. I know there's a presentation next month where W. Howard and Barclays are going to present a bit about OEE for you. I know Richard Burke from Tirlan, we've got a presentation coming up. An interesting one, Rich, I think, from Kieran Heffernan. So lots coming up. Actually, we have an AGM, by the way, at the end of this month. It's Friday 28th. I think Stephen's on the call somewhere. I think that's the date. It'll be 4 p.m. in the afternoon. If you would like to get involved in the steering committee of the Dublin Lane Network next year, please come along to that. We've got a really strong committee this year. We've about 12 people on it. We'll see how many want to keep going next year. And if anybody wants to join that team, we're always looking for new ideas and inspiration there as well. So thanks, folks. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, and apologies
Really
for the mess up
appreciate
the
that.
last time. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks
it was
for that.
our fault entirely,
No,
Kevin.
it was mine as well. Sorry about that last time. Thanks, guys. Thanks
Thanks,
for the
everybody.
questions.
All
Thank
the
you very
best.
much. Appreciate it,
Thank
Kevin.
you.